Hi, I'm Keith, and welcome to my art studio, where today I have something very special for you. This is my Dinosaur. It's watercolor, ink wash, pencil, and pen. This video is a tad bit long, but that's fine. If you're here to learn something, I'm going to teach you something. So stay tuned and check this out. If you follow my YouTube channel, and I hope you do, like and subscribe, you know I do lots of monsters. For the last 3 years, I've been on YouTube painting monsters, and I call them monster paintings for a reason, because that's what I do. Lots of teeth, lots of spikes, lots of angry monsters. Kind of like Jurassic Park, you know. Lots of other artists do landscapes. I do some landscapes, but I always put a monster in front. Or, you know, still lifes like oranges and grapes on a table. When I was in college, and I went to college for art, they would make a still life at the front of the classroom, and we'd all draw it or paint it or whatnot. But now that I'm no longer in college, I only paint the things that I find enjoyable, like this monster dinosaur. I don't know what kind of dinosaur this is. I should have wrote it down, but it's not a T-Rex. You can tell that by those little spikes on top of his head. And that's why I like this picture. I love those little spikes. I am outlining my image right now with an 8B, as in boy, pencil. The reason why, it's a soft-leaded pencil. It makes thick lines, and it kind of mimics the look of ink. And don't get me wrong here, I use ink in this picture all the time. I'm a lover of ink. I buy bottles of ink because I don't know, ink is a magical stuff, and they don't teach it enough, and I wish people would use it more often because it's such a magical thing. So I'm doing the outlines of my dinosaur. This is an actual dinosaur. You can see to the right, that blue dinosaur was my reference photo. This video is a tad bit long, so I am going to give you some dinosaur facts so that so this is not so boring for you. Here we go. Dinosaurs, facts about the reptiles that roamed the earth more than 66 million years ago. I got this off a website called Live Science. Dinosaurs are the extinct relatives of birds that roamed the lands and seas of ancient Earth. They first appeared around 240 million to 230 million years ago in the Triassic period, and went extinct around 66 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period, when a massive asteroid slammed into Earth. During the Triassic period, when dinosaurs first evolved, all the continents we know today were clumped together in a single landmass called Pangaea. Over tens of millions of years, Pangaea split apart, eventually coming to resemble the map of the world we know today. Dinosaur fossils have been found on every continent around the globe, including Antarctica. Some of the most famous types of dinosaurs include Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and Velociraptor, many of which were featured in the popular Jurassic Park movies. Most of these dinosaurs lived tens of millions of years apart from each other. Okay, on my painting, you can see I did a bunch of blacks. I love comic book art. I love the way they use blacks, and I'm experimenting with that now. I wanted to make this picture very, very textureful. Is that a word, textureful? So I use the black. I go over the black with my little white bumps. And I noticed the first time I went through, they kind of got absorbed into the paper. There's a difference between painting on paper and painting on canvas. Paper will suck the life out of your paint quickly. Where in canvas, you have more time to work with it. So right now, it looks like I'm putting on some ink wash. And I do that to get my contours, to get my darks to look right. If you use ink wash first, before you put your colors on, you get your values all correct ahead of time. You don't have to mess with your darks and lights. Okay, back to dinosaurs. The heaviest known dinosaur is thought to be Argentinosaurus, a supermassive titanosaur that lived during the Cretaceous period. It may have weighed up to 180,000 pounds. An asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs. The crash left a giant crater around 110 miles wide off the Mexico's coast. The word dinosaur means terrible lizard in Latin, and it was first made up in 1842 by paleontologist Richard Owen. Birds are actually dinosaurs. They evolved from theropods, a group of mostly meat eaters that included Velociraptor and T-Rex. Pterodactyls are flying reptiles that lived at the same time as dinosaurs, but they are not actually dinosaurs themselves. Did dinosaurs have feathers? Dinosaurs were once thought to look like modern lizards, covered in green scales. However, some dinosaur species were actually covered in feathers, just like birds today. We know this because some fossils of creatures, such as Archaeopteryx and Spinosaurus, both theropod dinosaurs, have preserved feather imprints. And some velociraptor fossils have tiny bumps on their arm bones, where feathers were attached, just like in modern birds. At first, paleontologists thought only theropod dinosaurs had feathers. However, scientists have found traces of downy feathers on fossils of plant-eating dinosaurs, suggesting the feathers may have been more common in dinosaurs than we thought. Some dinosaurs may have used feathers to stay warm, court mates, or even fly. For instance, paleontologists think that a tiny chicken-like dinosaur named Microraptor had feathers on its forelimbs to help it glide or even fly. Feathers may have been very colorful. In some species, fossils of Sinosauropteryx have even preserved pigment structures named melanosomes, which allowed scientists to figure out it had orange and white striped tail. These bright colors may have been used for mating, displays, or intimidation of others, just like how modern birds use their feathers today. So on my painting, I am mixing some colors. I mixed the yellow, I mixed the red and the blue, and it gave me kind of a. I like the color. It was gray, but it was not totally gray. And one thing I need to work on, I'll admit, is my color mixing. And any new painting I do, I'm not going to use straight out of the tube. Even on this painting, I did use some paint out of the tube. I need to get better at my color mixing. So right now I'm coloring the painting with those three pigments, and it comes out. I love the tone this comes out with. It's hard to explain. It's kind of a green gray, a greenish gray. I like it quite a bit. And we're in the underpainting part of the painting. Underpainting means you're putting in your basic lines, you're putting in some colors, but you're not getting to your highlights yet. The highlights is where your painting pops. It's what makes your painting worth money, because highlights is everything. This is the work part of painting, of artwork. Of artwork, this is the work, because you're just blocking in colors. You're blocking in shapes. You're blocking. But you haven't got your highlights yet. Even though right now I can see with my pencil, that pen, I am actually putting in some highlights. And that's the funnest part of painting for me, is putting in the highlights, because it turns your painting from a flat, dark image into something that's vibrant, and you can see and feel and touch. I mean, this painting, when I see it in person, it feels like I can almost touch the paper and feel the bumps, really. Texture means a lot to me. I worked on it tons over the years. Texture. All right, more dinosaur facts. Many species of dinosaurs were enormous. The largest group of all the dinosaurs were the Titanosaurus, which included Argentinosaurus and Patagalon. I'm not sure what that thing is. I've never heard of it before. Patagalon is one contender for the longest dinosaur discovered so far, measuring 123 feet long, weighing 62 tons, and standing 8 meters or 26 feet tall. Argentinosaurus may have been heavier, though. It reached 26 feet tall. Argentinosaurus may have been heavier, though. It reached lengths of 115 feet and weighs up to 110 tons. Such as Supersaurus and, this is a tough one, Giffitorian may have grown even longer or taller than their species. It's not clear why some dinosaurs were so big, though scientists think that their upright posture, wide hips, light bones, and unique foot structure may have made it easier to grow so large. Dinosaurs have probably had very efficient breathing thanks to air sacs within their tight bones, light bones. These sacs helped them take up oxygen during both inhalation and exhalation. This may have contributed to their growth to such gigantic sizes. And the long necks of Titanosaurus allowed them to graze on food right on top of trees where no others could reach, meaning they could consume lots of food without moving or burning much energy. Okay, on the painting, I'm using some yellow highlights. Looking back, I can't remember why I chose that, but I think it looks pretty cool. Maybe it's just the sunshine. Even though the sun is technically white, it's not yellow. And here I go with some ink. Now, I drew a circle around this dinosaur. I used a dinner plate. But in doing this, it's going to draw attention to his face. It's more of a like a commercial art type of graphic design style. But I love the fact that I did that. It looks really good. And now I'm putting red paint, or I call it red stripe, on his face to add some more interest. I use the paint right out of the bottle or tube. And sometimes I think I do that too often. I'm not very good at mixing paint colors, which I'm working on. I'm just my newest paintings, I'm not going to use paint right out of the tube. I'm going to mix. I mean, the color of his skin actually was a mixture of yellow, blue, and red. So I knew I needed to add an accent color, and the red actually looks pretty good here. So I'm happy with it. But in the future, I'm going to start trying to mix paints. And this, right now, I'm adding some more highlights to the red to get those 3D effects, and it is wonderful. So we're going to go back real quick to some more dinosaur facts. Give me a second here. And how did dinosaurs go extinct? Most dinosaurs suddenly went extinct about 66 million years ago after an asteroid struck Earth. You can see the evidence of this impact at the Chicxulub crater on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, which measures around 110 miles across. The asteroid was likely between 6.2 to 9.3 miles wide, and its collision with the Earth triggered intense wildfires, tsunamis, and massive earthquakes around the world. The impact also threw huge amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight for years. With less sunlight, temperatures dropped, plants died, and the food chains collapsed. Additionally, sulfur in the atmosphere from the asteroid impact fell as acid rain, killing off tiny plants that drift in the ocean known as plankton, which many animals relied on for food. The effects wiped out 75% of animals on Earth in a short period of time. While a lot of volcanoes were also erupting around the same time, most scientists think the asteroid caused the mass extinction. Only small theropod dinosaurs survived the extinction. The ancestors of modern birds or small mammal ancestors probably survived extinction because they could burrow and eat a wide range of food.